What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. Today we have tax guru Morgan Anderson, EA. How you doing today, Morgan? Welcome to the show. So, Morgan, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your background, and please don't leave out the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
We did have an interesting conversation before we started recording. I'll get there for sure. I'm a Midwest girl. I'm from a small steel mill town in Illinois originally, and grew up in the late 70s. I was one of a few kids in our school whose parents were divorced, and my dad actually raised us, my
Mm,
sister and I. He was a 28-year-old man left with a 3.5-year-old and a 1-year-old little girl.
mm.
And, to say that I got my grit from him is an understatement. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, we had a rough time. He was in the military and his civilian job. So, I dropped out of college and ended up working all kinds of jobs, W-2 jobs. I worked for one of the dog and cat food stores. I bartended. I did everything. At one point, I had 3 jobs going to make ends meet. I lived in an apartment where when it rained outside, it rained in the apartment. It was
Wow.
rough starts, right?
Yeah.
As you and I were laughing about at one point, to make ends meet, I sold all of the CDs that I had back when compact discs were a
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right? That
Yeah.
was how you got your music.
Yeah.
I took them to a resale shop and sold them all so I could buy a loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly to get through until my next paycheck. You know,
Mm.
it
Yeah.
was it was it was rough. It was a rough start, but thankfully I answered an ad for an administrative assistant for a company that did tax debt resolution. Just
Mm.
I was managing a candle store in Colorado, bored out of my mind, and I was like, I got to find something where I can apply myself.
Mm.
And I was 25 years old, answered this ad, and fell into a world that I had never heard about, that I had never knew was something that was out there. And man, to say, CJ, I found something that inspired me every day to give it my all,
Mm.
flex all my muscle, help everyone I could. It was amazing. It was a happy accident. A lot of our clients are small business or self employed people who, for whatever reason, something happens where their financial flow has a big hiccup
Mm.
and they accrue a tax debt. When you're facing a decision of, I either pay my supplier for the materials that we need to keep getting jobs and to keep my people employed and to keep the business going,
Mm.
or I pay payroll taxes. It's a pretty easy decision, right?
Mm.
You're going to pay what is absolutely needed in front of you, the decision that you have to make to keep things going versus paying money to the federal government. And if they don't get it, what happens? Nothing right away. It takes the IRS usually 3 to 4 quarters to realize that you didn't pay your payroll taxes.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that to anybody out there who is in the situation to make that decision because it's not good. I'm not sanctioning that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but but real life, I mean, that is the kind of decision that people are forced to make when you're a small business owner.
Mm.
And it's easy to see why the decision is made to not pay the taxes.
Mm.
So,
Okay. So Morgan, tell us about your book,
ah,
Tax Debt Rule Number One. There's always a solution.
that is the underlying tenet of my company. There's always a solution. I don't care how much you owe to whichever tax agency, there's always a solution to it.
Okay.
So don't ever feel like you don't know what to do. You want to hide from it because it's just too big and you don't know who to talk to and you don't know what to do, there's always a solution. You have to know that.